Hello, big beautiful world. Today this. Let's hop out and have a squeeze. Hang on, I'll just turn this puppy off. There we go. Let's hop out and have a look. Alright, this is a SeaRey and it dropped, I think, just today. I've been keeping an eye on this over the few weeks. Anybody who's a lover of the Icon A5, this is in that category. Love me a bit of it, Icon A5, I do. It's a great little beastie, this thing. Well, it's certainly a cool looking beastie. I don't know what it flies like yet, but the paint jobs on it are phenomenal. You know what, it reminds me of a Hot Wheels car, and not just any Hot Wheels car, but the Hot Wheels cars I had when I was a kid. I think they call them red lines. I mean, look at that blue and sort of lime green. If that isn't late 1960s, I don't know what is. People don't do drugs. We're taking off out of Nice. We're going to fly over, hopefully, to Monaco, Monte Carlo, and then maybe down to Côte if we've got time. Let's get up in the air, see what's what. All right, now, no. Okay, so what do we got? Okay, so that's all looking good. Right, master. That'll do. Avionics, nice and simple, I think, from what I can see of it all. 1 and 2. Chuck the strobe on. Chuck the nav. Landing. What do we do there? Oh, it's alright. It's not doing anything. There are quite a few Easter eggs on this. I forget what they are exactly. I think there's actually even a camping thing on here. Carb heat. Fuel. Pitot. Carbon cabin. Avionics. What else? There is some weird and wackies on here, that's for sure. I'm not sure how I found the camper. I had the camper on before. Alright. Like I said, I haven't taken it up. I've just twiddled about to make sure the track IR stuff is working. All kinds of weird and wacky. I think all the fuses pop. Do they? I'm going to say yes. Not sure what the views are like. Let's have a look. Come back. Okay, so those ones aren't. Alright, all good. Look, muck me around. Let's get up in the air. On, battery on. Yep. Sounds like it. Yep. Pop out, have a squeeze. Yep. Cool, the colours. I really dig the colours. Canopy, you can open and close. Let's get out of here. Let's get up. Let's have a go and get over there, shall we? Alright. So yeah, I think it only dropped today. I reckon, I think it was like 27 bucks Oz, maybe 7. Yeah, let's do that. This is, you get two versions, the light or the advanced and the elite, I think it is. And this is the advanced one. The elite is like 9 bucks US, 10 bucks US, and this puppy is like 17 bucks US. So I got this one because I'm rich, I've got money to spare, and I'm a comedian. So let's get up and about and see what we've got, shall we? But I really like it. It's got all the lines of the Icon. It's like somebody saw the Icon A5 or the old Republic SeaRey, I think it was, from the post-war era. same people who looked after the famous Thunderbolt and all the rest of it. And they thought, ah, yeah, I can do this in the garage, and that's exactly what they did. Just bringing in the throttle. Oh, pretty touchy. Pretty touchy. Alright, so pretty touchy on the throttle, on the takeoff. That's doubtless just my appalling skills, of course, but even so, pretty darn touchy. Nice wind noise. I am going to hop out and see what the you get tire downs and all the rest of it, which is cool. But I want to see what the undercarriage. There we go. There's the undercarriage coming up. Cool. Right. We're going to fly out over Nice, and I'm going to rabbit on about why this is a favourite part of the world for me, and take a stumble down memory lane as usual. One of my favourite. I don't know what the. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. Sorry guys, I'm just. My finger's hitting this button. No, it's not. Okay. We'll see how that goes for a while. Yeah, one of my favourite parts of the world. I was homeless here for about 5 months, 6 months, a bit longer on and off. A long time ago, in another lifetime, a million years ago, and this city was very kind to me. In fact, this entire stretch was very kind to me. The Côte d'Azur, the beautiful blue coast, the Azure coast. Trying to have a look. It's got quite a climb rate on it. Just trim her out a bit. This is the Vieux-Port, not Vieux-Port, the Vieux-Vu, the old city over here of Nice. And what a grand old city it is. It's really, really lovely. Now, if memory, my faulty memory serves me correctly, that little patch of green down there, it's where they used to hold the jazz festivals. And we snuck in. I forget who was playing, but we snuck in for a couple of artists. Big tents, 2 of them used to be, I think, and we snuck in under them, and I almost got the shit kicked out of me by a security guard. But you know, the stuff you do when you're young and crazy, right? This is a great part of the world. You know, it's the playground of the rich and famous, of course, but it's much more besides. I found people were profoundly generous here. The stories I could tell. Would make a grown man blush. But yeah, there's a few. Well, technically Marseille has the old port, but Nice's old port is equally important historically. Beautiful, beautiful city. So we're going to head off over around at 12 o'clock around the point there, and have a look to Monte Carlo. Now, I'm not sure if this is some freeware I nicked from .to. I'm guessing not, because some of the mountains I think may look a little ice creamy, and most of the developers up here tend to get rid of the ice cream. Those Salvador Dali melting mountains or melting coastlines. So we'll go and have a squeeze. We'll see what's what. I'm pretty sure the Monaco stuff is, and I think, you know, my flying wires, entirely untrustworthy memory. Pretty sure this is Villefranche-sur-Mer, and I believe it's that mole down at our 11 o'clock, where there used to be a shed. I remember sleeping behind it. There were some coppers had told me to move on. I was just too exhausted. I've been homeless for so long, man. So yeah, I was just too exhausted. So I slept behind this shed hoping nobody would come and move me on, and they didn't. So I got a good night's sleep right there on the pier with the clanking of the bells on the yachts in the water. I'm going to make this my home stretch for a while. In fact, I was originally going to take up the DH82 that we've all fallen in love with, that it's playing to rave reviews, and it's a steal at the price. No need for you to take a review from me or anybody else. Just go and buy it. And I take it the guy's name is Anthony. It's a masterpiece. It's just a masterpiece. It's study level for whatever it can be. You know, you've got to open up the hood, you've got to prime the donk, the engine. You've got to turn the mags on the other side through the cowling. Hop in, run the prop through, start her up and get up in the air. And it's all grace and longevity. I will do a clip with it eventually. In fact, I did a clip over Sydney recreating the exact flight, well, much of the flight that I did in a real de Havilland Tiger Moth flying out of Camden that was bought for me as a birthday gift. Where we went right round Sydney from right up the north to Pittwater, Northern Edge, back down through the beaches from Palm Beach right down to Wollongong. And as we were coming into Camden, we did some aerobatics, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So I'll probably even show you a photo of my goofy head, of, you know, that obligatory picture postcard photo. They get a view in the cockpit. But that's for another day. For now, though, we're going to stick to France. And we're sticking specifically to, there we go, there's some lovely Salvador Dali, oh no, I'm having an acid flashback, cliff faces. But, where's the flaps? This thing's really cool. It's got some of the Easter eggs, I think include you get a camping unit that you can set up. I forget how I did it. I think it's probably on the phone there. Is that it? It's your Garmin. Separate Garmin. I think this has got an EFB somewhere. I don't know. Hey! Oh, probably that toggle at the back there. Okay, cool. So we're now coming into Monte Carlo, because we're now with the rich and famous and so on and so forth. Running high in the RPMs, it's really quite high. That's alright, that's all good. Yeah, I wouldn't mind making this, in real life I wouldn't mind making this my home. That being said, I think I'm going to make this my new stretch to run around in simulated aircraft with for quite a while. Because, sorry guys, I was just looking back. Might try and build it up with some freewareoff.to. This looks fantastic. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the freeware that I got. Famous Monte Carlo, Monaco race circuit, down through here. Your main stretch running up through the back. Just trying to find. What am I looking for, peeps? Of course the palace and all the rest of it, but also the tunnel for the Eastern Pass-Through. There we go, running up. Yep. The hinterland. There we go. The hotel atop the race circuit. That's impressive. That's impressive. That's really impressive, actually. Sorry guys, I'm actually breaking the laws of physics there. So this is Monte Carlo. It's free. I'll try and remember to leave a link. I think there's a couple of versions. There's a heavy duty version and there's a lighter version. I believe I loaded in the lighter version. Maybe I should have just gone the whole hog. but that's all good. Playground of the rich and famous. Let's put this thing down. It is, after all, excuse me, please. It is, after all, a seaplane. So let's just see if we can put it down and go hang out with the millionaires for a while. When I was there, I was at a time, all those millions of years ago, this stretch from, well, quite literally from here over to Saint-Tropez and beyond, still had exiled Russians from, very old obviously, from the Russian Civil War. So a couple of them maintained that they were kind of Romanov, or that was a story. I had the pleasure of meeting one, and she was very, very old, and she was a really sweet old lass. And she spoke like 7 or 8 languages. It blew my mind. I was a feral kid from Sydney, you know, so it really was like being in the presence of royalty. But yeah, I got a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of mad stories from this part of the world, from that time of my life. I don't know what kind of speed I'm doing. Oh, we're not going that bloody fast. Okay. Hopefully. Where can I put it down? You know what? Let's do it. I'm just going to idle her in. Hopefully get enough. Might have to for the sake of safety. Give her some flaps. Plunk her down. Let her run. Let her just find a way down. Alright.
Nice landing.
Thanks, mate. Very cool. Let's head over here, have a squiz. Tell me that doesn't look a bit mind-blowing. That's pretty impressive. Amazing H from memory is the guy who created this. I don't know why I'd remember that. I just remember being taken with Amazing H, Amazing Grace, whatever. But yeah, that looks bloody impressive, people. Bloody impressive. So yeah, my entry into Monaco was, I'd been working for a truck driver over in Italy for a few weeks, and you know, I sort of figured I'd mosey on after some work around Torino and Alessandria and, you know, Savona and places like Genoa and places like that. So made my way over here, and as I was approaching the border, there's a little town on the other side, on the Italian side, called Ventimiglia. An Italian family picked me up, an Italian family, I think 5, mum and dad and 3 kids. And they stuck me in their boot to get me across the border into Monte Carlo. It was very sweet. They were very generous. And that's what I mean. That was the start. It was a boy's own adventure. You've heard me, anyone who's watched the other videos, you've heard me bang on. Don't need any more flaps, do we? Yeah, cool. Lee. Let's head out into the Med. Ride it off the step, hopefully. There we go. It doesn't take much to get her off the ground, I've got to tell you. I don't know if that's realistic, but it really doesn't take much to get her off the ground. So we'll head back towards Nice. I'll swing it from there. Might even give her a stall test. See how she behaves. I've got no idea. Like I said, she's a little squirrely on the ground in the water, but nothing, you know, it's quite appealing. It actually has a feeling of, okay, this thing is light. Top out and have a... And that paint job really does it for me. It just grabs me. You know, thought for a moment I'd broken off one of the bloody outriggers. Anyway, all good. All good. Goodbye, Monte Carlo, my love. So yeah, an Italian family had bundled me into their boot, got me across the border. Very nice, very sweet. I hopped out and I was busting to go to the loo, and I don't know what it's like now, but I went into a restaurant and I said to the guy, "Can I go to the loo?" And this old waiter said, "Sure, sure, sure." I don't think he understood me nor I him. So I went to use the loo and only at the last moment realised that it was a pay toilet, even in a restaurant. And of course I had no money. I've been bloody penniless for weeks by then, for months by then. So I ended up getting chased out, long story short, I ended up getting chased out by an angry maitre d' and a waiter in a very, very busy, insanely rich restaurant. And that, folks, is my life in a nutshell. Yeah, good times. And then, so I made my way west around here. Like I said, I didn't even back then have any idea of the geography of this part of the world. I didn't know that Nice was the next major city, and that this was the famous area of the Azure Coast, and famous playground of the rich like Saint-Tropez and Juan-le-Pin, places like that. But I soon learned. And I would spend the next few months of my life bumming about with other homeless people, a lot of homeless people, man, from all over the world. We'd all sleep at the railway station in Nice. If we're lucky, we might pass over it. And we all had our tricks and tips to get by. I busked, so I'd head down to the main drag by the beach there, and I would busk. Oh, incidentally, the toilets were the only people who had free toilets, at least back then in the mid-80s. I think pretty much anywhere in France where I used to go was McDonald's. So never thought I'd say this, but massive shout out to McDonald's for saving our lives on a repeat basis. I like this. I like the layout. I like it's really cool. Might just, there we go, mouse it in a bit more familiar. I like this aircraft actually. This whole, look me a bit of Icon Air 5. I think it's great. It's a great layout. Don't know why I want to say it in a really dodgy Yorkshire accent, but every time I say Icon A5, I always hear some kind of Barnsley or Sheffield miner in my head saying it. Why? Who knows? Who knows how our brains work? So coming back over Nice, and it's a great city full of very cool people. And we know that people aren't cool. We know that most of them are, many of them aren't. But like I said, for even the rough times here, for all the times where the blackout nights and the mad moments and even moments of anger and violence, it was an incredible period to be alive. It was an incredible city at the time. Not a lot of aggro, really. Wasn't all peace and love among beings, I can tell you, because the SDCE, I think it was, not the SDCE, the Securite, the tough cops, we used to call them, the tough flic. They were pretty sadistic, they were pretty savage, and they'd come and just get the dogs onto us and stuff like that. There was, for a peace, love and mung being kind of country as it was back then, it had a notoriously strong authoritarian streak to it, which was just highly unfortunate, really. But you know what? I think that's true of most cities. That's why I really lose my beans as we see more and more authoritarianism around the world at the moment. Because I think, didn't we learn anything? Did we learn nothing? Over all the years that I've been alive, have we learned nothing? And forget about me, I mean, there we go, starting to get a bit of stutter. Not sure. This is ever since update 9, or update 11, sorry. This has been giving it to me really solidly. So it's the first time in a couple of years I've had to really muck around with the settings. Might have to knock the city back a bit, take the ultra settings off or something. Bit of a shame, really. It's a beautiful honeymoon there for a long time. So we'd all stay up here at the old station. We'll make our way back here of a nightly basis, and one guy, a couple of guys actually, I think, so many moments. A cat I knew from Liverpool, from the pool, is a carpenter by trade, but he was a good looking young kid. We're all around early 20s, and he used to be an escort for a lass out of New York, and we used to call her the Black Widow. And it was said, I don't even think it was rumour, I think it was an open secret, that she was the she was the daughter of one of the 5 family members of the mafia in New York. And I don't feel for my mate who used to, I mean, she was a lot of fun, but she was just wild. She was off the charts, and you know, life and death had a very different meaning to her than it did for the rest of us mere mortals, I can tell you. But I hope he's well, hope he's alive, hope he got on with his life and prospered. Yeah, lovely mate. Another guy I know used to, well, quite frankly, trick with some of the older clients of the hotels back along the famous hotels there on the beachfront of Nice. Actually, in a lot of places where we'd hang out, and one of them, that's how I know about the White Russian, because one of them was a beautiful old lass. I know I shouldn't be revealing this in YouTube land, but this is life. This is where it takes you. And it's funny because Flight Sim unlocks all these memories for me. So yeah, it's a great city. It's a great city full of a million tales, with a huge history, even from my lifetime alone. Toby Eye Tracker is behaving now. I really like the way I've got this set. Just moving my eyes, looking up, looking around, looking down. Cool. Stop mucking about, flying low. Let's grab a couple of thousand and see what's what, shall we? Yeah, a bit more. Okay. Oi. Settings on this. What happens there? No. Alright, cool. We'll get above, out over the water. I want to see what the stall characteristics are like on this puppy. I don't normally do of course, I have to do acrobatics in the one aircraft where it says prohibited, but that's okay. Maybe I should have taken up the DH-82. I don't know how this is going to go, gang. But being as squirrely as it is on the water, I thought, oh, I wonder what it behaves like on the for the flight, or even on the takeoff. Yeah, I wonder what it behaves like on the flight itself. So now we're going to we may as well take her over to Com. I'll pull up in the water. We'll hang out with some of the movie stars. In my day, the big thing was Clint Eastwood was out on the yacht. Good old Clint. Still kicking, still going strong. Still the moderate Republican. Still doing weird things at the Florida Convention with the invisible chair, which he did a few years ago. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I like my politics from artists all over the world. Sometimes I don't understand them at all. But that was a big thing. Clint on his yacht. Could I busk well enough to get onto his yacht at a party? Nah, spoiler alert, folks, I didn't. But I used to enjoy busking there anyway. I used to enjoy busking down by the waterfront and right along here, right down to... And this is the whole thing. We were all homeless. You know what I mean? Upwards of like 70, maybe even at one point 100 of us. And we'd all do different things. One mate would get work in restaurants for a couple of days and pass us cheap booze over the back of the fence if it had a fence. Another mate would trick, another mate would hustle, you know. Okay, so let's stall it. Hold her up, hold her up. Bit of a fast stall, not a healthy thing to do. Woohoo, okay. Oh no, very nice, very pleasant. Okay, you feel it, you really do feel it. That's good. That's really sweet. Yeah, but there'd be all those homeless folks, and somebody in their infinite wisdom would say, oh, why don't we head over to Saint-Tropez, Juan Le Pen? And everybody goes, sure. And we'd all jump the train and follow the coast down. And, I don't know if there's a statute of limitations, but I think the French government was asking me for upwards of a couple of $1,000 Australian in fines back then that somehow I forgot to pay. I was too busy. The paperwork of our lives, people. The paperwork of our lives. How do you negotiate that sort of thing? I don't know. That should be cut onto the off our at around our 10, and we'll put it down. Yeah, this is a great little addition. I like this aircraft. I love this little beastie. Very cool. So I'm wondering, let's have a look what the beachfront is like. We'll pull up in the water, but see if we can get up onto the beach. And I can set up the tent if I can remember how to do it. I saw somebody doing it and I thought, oh yeah, I can do that. That looks cool. But there are a few Easter eggs. Of course, I never take you through them all because, like I said, reviews aren't necessarily my forte. I get stuff, I fly stuff, I try not to fly too badly, definitely try not to crash, hopefully make up some complete bollocks, and safely get us back down to the ground and sign off. But look, if you're going to hang anywhere in the world, this is why I love this flight simulator. I mean, not just to stumble down memory lane, but the fact that I think I've got to get back there. I have to get back there. Not for the romance and not for the old nostalgia or sentiment, but because to reinvigorate that sense of possibility that only travel can bring, if I'm to be honest. Nothing in the world cures my narrow-mindedness better than getting out into the world. So Flight Sim is a pale proxy with which to do that, I know that, but at the same time it is not half bad as a decent spur to get me thinking about, well, when am I going to get off my fat lazy butt and get back there and have a new round of adventures as an old man. And I certainly hope I do. I hope you cats all do too. What do you think of this part of the world? What do you think of this aircraft if you got it? What are your thoughts and comments? Please, always welcome to leave them. I do pay attention to them. I know my videos aren't for very many people, and I know I'm curmudgeonly enough to say I don't do it for anyone but me. That being said, if you do like it, yeah, hit the thumbs up button, I guess. It's really a shared environment for all of us, and I am. I'm genuinely curious to know how Flight Sim inspires each of you. What inspires you? I know a lot of the comments I get are about aircraft design and stuff like that, and for the particular period of aircraft that we all love, such as pre-war to post-war in particular for me, but often it's not more modern GA aircraft, less and more modern military aircraft. I see the MB 349 has dropped, 339, 349 has dropped. I've got the Fiat Air Italia one that came out, one of the first aircraft add-ons, and that's more than enough for me as a two-seater trainer, light aircraft for modern jets. And you've got the Fuga Magister, which is actually a magnificent aircraft to get around in. It howls along, it's tricky, it requires constant love and attention. I do love the yachts now. I love the boats. Yeah, in fact, there's very little I don't love. That stuttering from the last update is personally annoying for me. Maybe you cats don't have it. I've tried it with the cache on, cache off, not making a whole lot of difference. I thought at first it was my internet connection. Nah, it's all been happening since update 9. So yeah, let's just hold her up for a moment. And yeah, I am keen to hear your thoughts on it all. So please leave something. All comers are welcome, because we all see it through a different lens, and that's what amazes me. Some people really love how meticulous some of the builds can be, whether it be the cities or the aircraft themselves or whatever. May as well head back over here towards Clint Eastwood's yacht, because I do believe off at our 1 o'clock is where he kept it. And we'd all stay over here at the Quasset, which is that, I think that patch of bushland just there. And we'd all disperse throughout the night at the early hours. If the coppers didn't chase us off, we'd all be far too drunk from the commandeered alcohol. Give ourselves some flaps. A couple of layers. Yeah, 2 notches should do it. Alright, cool. Holding her off. Holding her off. Just gently, gently bringing her down. We're down. Alright, I can live with that. Now, is there going to be a beach we can pull up at? There we go, on the water. Looking pretty snazzy. Ladies and gents, is there going to be a beach we can pull up at? Take our flaps up, eh? Bye, Clint. You know, the other thing I love about Flight Sim, it's a reminder of something I often have to remind myself of. Because you think you're telling tall tales and all the rest of it, and you're not. These are actually integrated into our lives. Maybe we're all flying wires at some point. But that being said, it's a stark reminder that you can be really, really ordinary and still find yourself in extraordinary situations. It's where life takes you. And we've all got it. We've all got those moments. But this is a place and a time that triggers it for me in particular. So we're going to just see how we can get a little bit of land clearance and come up somewhere, eh? By some of the yachts, maybe? No. You know, we've got some of the finest beach real estate. Here's another thing that used to blow me away. I never really got used to it. I mean, Spain was different again, but and Italy was different again. But in France, knowing that segments of the beach were in private property, as I used to say to people, if you tried that where I came from, there'd be a revolution. Because Australians, for all our bluff and bluster, there are many, many things. One thing that we really, well, truth is, I don't know how we behave now in reality. We're not no country is as coherent as any myth would have us think. But that being said, the idea that you'd have to pay for a beach in Australia, like I said, it would lead to revolution. Whether that's true or not, it certainly felt true when I was a young man, and I witnessed this overseas. I just thought, how is that even possible? You know, this is the natural world. I remember being over here. Actually, it was Casillo here, but I think it was here. And one day we were about to go. It was crack of dawn. Many of us had slept by the beach and miraculously not been chased off by the tough coppers. And we looked out. We were all about to go for a morning dip, because I tell you what, there's nothing like a morning swim in the Mediterranean to get your heart started, I can tell you. But we saw this lump floating out there, and we could have sworn it was moving. And as we looked at it, we were sure more and more it was a whale carcass being attacked by sharks. So we didn't go swimming that morning. No. Not the thing to do at all. Okay, so don't know if we can, but I am going to try, see what happens. Ah, there we go. Won't let me do it there. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. Oh, that's what we wanted. Okay, so we're up. We're out of the water. How cool is that? Pretty darned good. Now, if I can find, it's really all I wanted to demonstrate. Now, what happens if I hit this? Is that? Okay, so I'm going to turn. I know I've gone. I know I've gone over long on this one, but just want to see what happens here. No, nothing. Nothing. There we go. There we go. It's right behind me. So just turn that puppy off. What happens if I do that? There we go. We unzip it or what? No. No. Sorry cats, I'm buggerizing around now. I'm just wasting everyone's time. How do I do it? Okay, so why don't we just power it down? I'm keen to know now. Okay, cool. Open her up. Crack the... Yep, cool. Shut those bloody pumps up. Thank you. Oh, lights out. All good. Off. Off. All good. Thank you. What am I doing? How do? I need to know. I need to know, people. There we go. How cool is that? That's it. Who needs a mansion, baby? We got this. All right, big beautiful world. I'll shut up. I'll let you get to it. Would I grab it? Yeah, I've grabbed it. This is awesome. This is kooky. Tricky on the flight model, just enough to keep it interesting and fresh and original. Get out flying. See you in Monaco. Bye.